Hi guys, welcome to my Sims 4 Let's Play. Today we're going to be building the house for our Let's Play actually, so it's not a Let's Play, this is a pre-Let's Play speed build of the house that our family is going to be living in for our Let's Play. It took a while to try and get this house perfect, so hence why it's taken me a while to upload this video, because I really wanted to create a house, like a really nice family starter house, because I didn't want to cheat or anything, and I wanted to use the starting budget that a family starts out with, but still be able to create a house which is reasonably nicely decorated. My original idea for this house was to do something that was quite lived in and quite mix and match, but that wasn't really working with the budget that I had, so I decided that for this build I was going to go with a house that was one of those like standard houses that like new developments build, where everything's just the same inside the house, everything's perfect, everything matches. So yeah, that's the kind of look that I was going for. I had a few, as you can see, I have a few things here that I needed to delete from the previous builds. Like I said, I tried to build this house a few times, but it was really just not going very well. I kept on making the house too big, which meant I didn't have enough money to furnish it properly, because I wanted to furnish the house like there were actually people living in it. So getting all those what do you call them, clutter items, to really add a personal feel to the house. I really struggle with roofs in The Sims 4, so if anyone has some tips on some roofs, that would be really appreciated, because I really liked this kind of what do you call them, bay window type look to the front of the house, but the roofs just don't seem to like to conform to that kind of setting, and yeah, I really did struggle with that. So we're just going with a very simple front porch area, very small. I also didn't like how what they called like gables or something like overhang so much over the roof. I found that quite annoying, but I kind of just had to work with it. As you can see, putting another little small patio area on the back of the house here, which creates just like a little nice outside part of the house for the house to come onto before it goes straight onto the lawn. Adding some stairs in there so we can get down. I also found it really annoying. I really wanted to add the stairs on the curve, but obviously you can't do that. And then I wanted to add the stairs here, but the fencing, due to the shape of the curve or something, wouldn't let me do that. So I kind of played around with this for quite a while trying to get it right, but in the end I just had to end up moving the stairs anyway and putting them where they wanted to go. So I want to talk to you about some ideas that I have for this Let's Play. I'd like to, as I said before, this is going to be my starting family. They're going to be quite young. Hopefully we're going to go on to have quite a successful family, though. I want to kind of make them the kind of star celebrities of this neighborhood and create a big wealthy family off the back of them, and hopefully play on for generations and generations to come, which I thought would be quite nice, a nice idea. And we can have some dramas about inheritance when these Sims eventually pass away, and there'll be like lots of siblings and grandchildren hopefully that will want a share in the in the inheritance, which I thought would be quite interesting. So I think for our wife, our female character, I think she's going to be a writer, and I think the husband is going to be probably like an athlete, like a football star or something. I think that'd be quite interesting to have like a famous author and a famous football player in the game. So yeah, just adding the doors and trying to get the pillars to form correctly here. I really wanted to put a pillar on the other side of that staircase, but it just wouldn't let me do it. I probably could have done it if I put the move objects cheat on, but I didn't want to do that at this stage, so I just decided to leave it without one. I thought it was okay without one anyway. now, just putting in some windows. I had to, as I've said, go quite cheap on the windows and such, because this is their starter house and they don't have much money, so I didn't want to create anything too elaborate, but I did want it to look like a proper house, like it was thought about at least a little bit. Hopefully we will go on to make a more elaborate house. I have made more elaborate houses on The Sims in the past, and after I've gained some wealth, because I don't really like to cheat in The Sims, as I don't really feel it's very beneficial to cheat in The Sims, because it kind of comes a bit boring when, like, The Sims isn't exactly a hard game, and when you're just going to cheat to get everything, it kind of takes away the point of playing it, and it becomes a bit meaningless. At least with when you have to earn your own money in The Sims, it forces you to have like a goal, and you kind of have to stick with it a lot longer, which I prefer in games. So I'm kind of thinking in this living room we're going to have one bedroom, one study, bathroom, kitchen and a living room, so quite standard. As I say, I did try to make it look a bit more lived in and not very, you know, show home like, but in the end we just went with a very you know, matching decor. I thought it, because the house is so small, I felt like it aided in the continuity of the house to keep the inside decor of the house quite similar. And I am a big fan of monochrome, so hence why I went for the black and the white. I thought it was quite a modern look as well, which I definitely wanted to try and emulate, because I wanted this to be, like I said before, like a new build, kind of newly developed house for new first time buyers, which I thought was quite an interesting house to build. I do leave off with some garden renovations still to do in the house, because I just didn't have enough money to put everything in that I wanted to at the time, and as I've said, I really don't want to cheat. We have a problem with this door. I think I eventually change it so it doesn't interfere and cut into the room as much as it does, because this is not a very big kitchen. And yeah, I think we're going to change the door in just a second. Yeah, changing that door as well, because it was too wide, but I quite like this glass door. I think it's quite an interesting one, and I think that's okay to have in your back garden, because it's not as, you know, you don't expect people to be lurking around in your back garden, so I think that's fine. Just trying to fit everything in the kitchen that we need. We are definitely going to be aiming to get a larger house eventually, which we can spend more time doing the decor and personalising a bit more. But when you have, I think we had like an £18,000 or £19,000 budget, which isn't very much when you're trying to build a nice house that isn't literally just like a room in, well, like a studio flat, because I did want to create something that was nice, but again, a starter house that was on the cheap. I really like these bathrooms that have counters. I think that's a really nice thing to have in your bathroom. We don't tend to have bathrooms like this in England, because our houses are incredibly small in England. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. If anyone is from the US, then they tend to, like, a standard house tends to be a lot larger in the US, I find. I think England actually has one of the smallest like houses in the Western civilization. I think we have some of the smallest houses. I think we definitely have the smallest houses in Europe, like on average, which is certainly true in my case. We certainly don't have these great big counters in our bathrooms, because there just isn't the space to have them. As you can see, I did put the move objects cheat on to try and, you know, clutter up the bathrooms, because let's be honest, who has everything laid out in a perfect grid in their bathrooms, like especially in very small bathrooms like these ones. I tried to add all the clutter items I can because I think that really brings homes to life. In The Sims, it really makes it feel like somebody's actually living there as opposed to a very artificial life. And yeah, it just creates a really nice atmosphere. As I said before, we can't get anything majorly expensive, so they're not going to be happy with these cheap beds and such. I find that the move objects cheat is also really good for placing items like off the grid, because there was quite a big gap between the bed and the wall, and I think that's quite an odd thing. Like, nobody has their bed that far away from the wall, especially when they've got such a small room. You want to make as much room of the space as you can, so that's definitely where that became useful, to be able to put things right up against walls and create more space in the room. As you can see, this room is looking very standard and not very personalised, because we just don't have the money to make something that is a little bit mismatched look very good at this stage. I really wanted to try and fit another chair in here, but with the space and everything, it just didn't work. And also I think this is the chair that is meant to match that sofa, but I don't think it matches very well, so in the end I just took it out. Got a nice coffee table here to put our terrible TV on, which we would definitely be looking to upgrade in the future. But I don't really like when the Sims just spend all their time watching the TV, so I may even delete it eventually because it can just be kind of annoying. I don't tend to let my Sims watch too much TV because they can just sit there and watch it for hours, and it's kind of unproductive for them, especially when we're trying to be quite successful, because obviously the Sims can, I don't know, you can let their lives go by like really, really fast sometimes, and you just don't get a lot done in one lifetime, especially when you've got like children to look after and you're trying to get their homework and get them good grades in school and everything like that. So I tend to not let them use the TV too much, because they can definitely be doing more productive things with their time, which is definitely true in real life as well, I think. I mean, I don't watch too much TV. I tend to watch things on my computer now, but that time could definitely be spent being more productive, doing things I actually need to do instead of watching things or watching other people do things. That's one reason why I started recording my gameplay videos, is because I really, really love watching other people play games. I'm sure you know all the big Sims 4 YouTubers out there that record their gameplay, and I really enjoy watching it, and so I thought, why not just give it a go? And you know, I play quite a lot of Sims, and I've had really quite successful families and successful family trees, so I thought, why not post some of my gameplay out there? I'm definitely still getting used to editing. I mean, it's definitely not an easy task, like editing, especially when you have no idea how to use any of the software and it's like all brand new to you. It can be quite daunting, but I'm slowly getting the hang of it. I tried to like put some clothes around here to like make it look like I said, it was lived in. Kind of make some mess about the house, because nobody has a perfectly clean and tidy house 100% of the time. Of course, some people, you know, have tidy houses, but can't be like that 100% of the time. And like I said before, I think it adds a touch of realism to the game, which I quite enjoy. Put some clutter in the kitchen. I really wanted to get the set of knives, but the set of knives were ridiculously expensive, and I couldn't justify spending that much money on some like kitchen knives. I think they were like a few hundred, like simoleons. I can't say that word. But yeah, I also find that it's a bit disappointing that you can't always see the bits and pieces that you put on the wall. Like that towel that I just put on the wall there is completely gone now, and I think it would be a really nice touch to be able to see it. But I understand why you can't and why things have to disappear, but I think it's quite a shame because it adds a really nice touch to the properties. Now we're just adding the final touches to the bedroom, adding some books and pieces, try and make the bedroom more lived in, try and make it messier. I kind of liked the idea of having a backpack, but it was kind of looked too kiddie-ish. It also did really want that rack of shoes, but I just didn't have enough room for it. I quite like the idea of it going on the on a dresser though, so I may do that in future when we have a bigger room to be able to put more things in. Maybe a couple of dressers. One can have the shoe stand on. I really like these bottles and things. I think that really brings it to life, because some people definitely have over cluttered dressers of, especially like a girl's dresser. I imagine that to be quite messy with nail polish and body things and, I don't know, face creams and all that good stuff. I'll just adding a few more bits to the study. I think that fits really nicely in with those books there, like that. Put some shelves in the living room, because our living room is quite bare. Like, it's actually quite a big room considering the amount of stuff we have in the living room, so I definitely need to find some other things to fill that with. Try and put some picture frames. I wish you could personalize the pictures in the picture frames. I think that would be really cool. I know you can put I know you can take selfies now, but I don't know if you can put them in standing frames. I think that'd be a really nice touch, although it's quite a minor thing, so whether it would be done or not, I don't know. Because I don't know if some people put all these things in their houses. I know it's something new that I've definitely been trying. I haven't always put this much clutter in my houses, just because I didn't actually know it was there. I think there's definitely not a lot of new items in The Sims 4 for that type of thing, which I think is really nice. I think we're about finished here, so we're just gonna do a tiny little bit of landscaping outside, but I didn't have enough money to completely make it how I wanted to, so I just used this brush tool to try and make a more organic feeling to the outside of the house. I'm definitely going to be adding more plants and things eventually, but as you can see, I have $97 to spend, which is nothing at all. That was definitely too big. So yeah, that's definitely an area of improvement that we're going to be working on in the future when we start to get some more money, because we definitely want to invest it in this property and then sell this property and move on and maybe build another custom one. Yeah, I think definitely build another custom one actually, because I think it's a lot nicer when you build your own houses. So yeah, I think that's about it. So hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the Let's Play when we actually start playing this family.